We've been mulling over a few months whether our idea of a semi-open tropical bathroom with an integrated garden is a wise idea. The more the house takes shape, the more doubts we have.
The only but that I have with this concept, with this open concept, is what happens in the rainy season. I'm not sure if this area is too open.
So I am discussing with our architect Salva about leaving it open or closing it. Because I believe
we have to close this anyway, because that won't work out.
Why?
If we have heavy rain, we have heavy rain here.
Try it and then you will see.
How to build a dream house in Costa Rica.
The biggest adventure of our life.
hello to a new episode of our little adventure documentary How to Build a Green Dream House in Santa Teresa, Costa Rica. We have a new inspector on the construction site who is keeping a close eye on the progress of the work.
This is the new member of our family, Paula. Paula arrived 2 days ago, 4 months. This is our brand new dog. Actually, this is our own dog for the first time. The 3 you saw in all these episodes from 0 to 10, it's actually not our dogs. But now Paula is for the first time our own dog. She's a puppy, she's pretty young, she's actually 4 months or something. Nobody knows exactly, she's very cute and she's always with us.
So we finally have someone with expertise and experience on our side to finish the house. The next step, which I'm looking forward to the most, is the garden design of the L Design Villa. It's not exactly ideal to start planting in the dry season, for sure, but we don't have any other choice. But we do have an idea what the garden should look like.
Necesitamos 1 o 2 palmeras, ¿verdad? So algo grande y tal vez los blancos, en combinación de las violetas.
Sí, se ven bonitos también.
First thing I say is I'm not a garden designer and I'm not a gardener. I made it all out of my belly.
Guts.
We made it all out of our belly.
Usually you have a garden architect and it makes totally sense to have someone. But in this case we decided, okay, we want to do it ourselves because now we have enough experience. We know exactly what's necessary. In this case we have 4 corners to fill. It's all around the house. Sometimes you have a house which only offers you one part, so one space. So it's easy to plant there something because you have no options. Here you have like 360 degrees.
And that is definitely challenging. The goal is to plant so much that is colorful and dense for our guests and at the same time attractive and nutritious for wildlife.
Y roja, una, definitivamente en el centro. Una especial, una palmera de 4 metros altura.
How many plants we need where and in which colors? Where do we have lines to plant straight lines? Where it needs to be a bit more mixed and wild. And I think we found a pretty good balance between very straight lines plus very wild and tropical. Because you're in the tropics, so you need a tropical garden, right?
Absolutely, but also not too much. Because here in Santa Teresa the plant life literally grows over your head in only one rainy season. So the right balance is what you're looking for.
Speaking of the rainy season, with our 2 bathrooms on the long side of our L house, we've been mulling over a few months whether our idea of a semi-open tropical bathroom with an integrated garden is a wise idea. The more the house takes shape, the more doubts we have.
The only but that I have with this concept, with this open concept, is what happens in the rainy season.
The question is if it's too open for the rain and for dust and noise.
For me, this little gap was just rain to water the plants of the garden and create texture on the stone.
So the original idea of this bathroom is to have like an open bathroom because we're in the tropics. So we had the idea to have an internal garden connected to the outside garden. But it turns out for me, when I see this space that is open now, it has a nice ventilation.
but also has the potential for extensive flooding in the bathrooms during heavy downpours in the rainy season. So I am discussing with our architect Salva about leaving it open or closing it. Because I believe
We have to close this anyway, because that won't work out.
Why?
If we have heavy rain, you have heavy rain here. With a little bit of wind, everything is coming in.
Try it, and then you will see.
well, Salva is right, of course, because all theory is great. Sometimes you simply have to try it out. That's why we always have a plan B in mind to be able to react quickly if necessary.
Okay, let's move to the interior design. We are very lucky to have called our own carpenter on the mountain 2 years ago. So we decided to have all the furniture in the house made here on site. It's more work but brings quite a few benefits when you take a few things into consideration. So if you, like in our case, you choose your own furniture and have someone making them, it's completely different than if you would go and buy them all in a store. So you have to go into this thought of the planning your interior completely different. First of all, you have to make like a list what you need. Then look for ideas.
So get inspirations.
Yeah, look for inspiration. Then you go into the room, because the next steps are the measurements. Because you should choose the proportions of the chairs or the sofa or whatever you want in the room itself. Because you can only see like the proportion from the room towards the furniture when you're in the rooms.
Indeed, but you tell me again that I'm talking too much. Just saying.
Once you have everything together and the booklet is set, you know exactly what you want, you go with your carpenter on site and talk with him about all the dimensions. So in case you made a mistake and he maybe needs additional information to build the chair or the table or whatever piece of furniture.
Ok, a mí sería perfecto bajar en esa línea.
Ok, de ahí para adentro.
Más bonito porque para caminar en esa línea.
Sí, ok. De aquí para adentro.
And be aware, you have to have at least 5 meetings in Costa Rica about your furniture, because it just has to be 5. I don't know why, but it has to be repeated many times.
To have your own carpenter is actually already a pro, because you can talk with your carpenter all day. You can invent your own ideas. You can research thousands of times, and you can change until the very last end things.
And if you're structured to some extent, that leads to the fact that you can just work on details until the end. And sometimes you even have to. For example, if the measurements you gave the carpenter based on the construction plan don't match the construction reality, it's good, you can still react then. Here we have the problem that the wardrobe here has a special room for itself, but the wardrobe is too big. You can see it doesn't fit in there, and on the other side it hit the wall.
Sounds pretty trivial, and it is.
It's a quiz. Demasiado grande o demasiado alto.
Yo pienso que vamos a quitarle 1 centímetro. Yo creo que no es problema por 1 centímetro más pequeño. Es 1 centímetro, ya pasa.
Ah, okay.
They solved this problem by, well, the easiest way, cutting it.
I say a very simple and effective solution, and it goes like this.
Let's shorten it now, 5 centimeter, and add afterwards another 5 centimeter to the socle.
You see, now it's inside. And we kept the line of the door by adding little feet.
If you choose wood in Costa Rica, you should, this is my firm conviction, stay in one tone. Too many different woods are for us purely design technically a too wild mix and minimizes the flexibility for the selection of furniture or tiles. We have decided also after consultation with our carpenter for a type of wood that we use almost universally.
The main wood we use in this house is teca. Because it's from here, it's super nice, it's tropical, and it delivers everything that you would expect for a tropical house. We have one exception. In the bathrooms, we couldn't use for the tables teca because they need to be thick. They're very solid. And you won't find a piece of teca because teca, the wood itself, the tree itself is like that big, right? So you won't find a piece of teca which can bring you like a thick table for the bathrooms. So instead of teca, we used for these tables Costa, which is quite nice wood as well. Looks quite familiar to teca, so you won't see the difference if you don't know actually that it's a difference and that there are two kinds of wood.
Back to our bathroom problem. In our original concept, 2 of the 3 ensuite bathrooms were to be tropical semi-open, including an integrated garden. On closer inspection, however, we are no longer so sure whether it's a wise idea. Especially because of the rainy season, our fear grows with every step of the construction. The advice of our architect Salva:
if you're complete mechanized, that you
I'm
need
not
to
mechanized.
that you need to close it. But if you are open to think and check if you need to close it or not, give a try.
As if the weather god had overheard our discussion, he thankfully sent a massive downpour at night the very next day, and thus confronted us with tropical reality.
So a lot of water came in, and actually too much water.
Everything until here is super wet. And this is not the worst rain we have.
The premonition becomes very quickly a profound knowledge because
We had a heavy rain last night, and all my doubts that I had with this open concept were unfortunately confirmed. Reality showed us, okay, don't mess with the rain here, because the rain will tell you what you're allowed to do and what not.
So from the semi-open, make a closed bathroom concept, but keeping in mind that the inside garden needs ventilation to grow. Also, fresh wind prevents mold growth.
good that we have some people around us who know how all this is possible. You actually just have to explain it. And again, a thing that I really love here in Costa Rica. If you want to solve a problem spontaneously, it is solved in no time, very pragmatically and very relaxed.
Una estructura en metal algo pequeño que sale para allá, con un techito pequeñito. Nosotros ponemos un vidrio arriba, pero aquí iría una estructura que va a sostener esto. Entonces después nosotros ponemos vidrios.
The thing is that in the whole plan, our roof is now too short. The easiest would have been to just make a big roof to cover it from the beginning. So now the roof ends and the bathroom is like 20 centimeters more. So you have this gap. This gap you have to close in a way that looks sexy, that still brings light in the bathroom, plus air, because you can't just only close it. You need to have windows that are open and closed, because otherwise you don't have any airflow anymore in one of the bathrooms, and everything would just mold.
How is this practically feasible without large additional costs? With the appropriate practicality and still stylish?
Fortunately, our contractor Adalai has more than 30 years of construction experience in the tropics. Therefore, such a problem really does not make him sweat.
Vamos a poner esa pieza de 2x2 con un bisel por encima para sacar el vidrio. Este que sea el vidrio, ahí para allá.
Eso es vidrio. Ajá.
Y luego otra pieza ahí, ponerla, ahora sí, poner la pieza allá.
Sí.
Esta.
Entonces encontramos la solución.
¿En cuánto? Fijo. Acá una ventana que abra, otra ventana que abra.
Sí.
Así, correcto.
And the implementation of the problem solution took only 1 week and cost just under $2,000. So feasible it's still closed, but it feels like open. And another learning, no matter how well prepared you are, sometimes you only discover the best solution during construction.
We have now like a little glass roof. We have glass in the middle and on the side, and one window on each side you will be able to open.
So that you still have ventilation and you still have a kind of open bathroom concept.
So it pays to be on site often and to discuss little as well. The main thing,
Honestly, for me, as long as discussions are productive, it's necessary to fight in a good way. It was not really a fight, it's more about, okay, what is the best opportunity if we go for option A, B or C? So listen to other people, but finally you have to come to your own decision and stand for it. That's so easy.
Stay stand by your decisions. That certainly applies to our garden as well. Again, we are not gardeners, and a professional gardener will probably pull his hair out, and rightfully so, I'm sure. But this garden here was in our head from the beginning, and so we really wanted to go through with it for us. So we looked at other gardens, especially our garden in the greenhouse, designed by a garden architect, by the way, has helped us extremely. And of course, we talked to professionals.
When you plan a garden, you have to either know or talk to the plant shop, to the vivero, which plants can survive a lot of sun and which plants are good for shady parts. This is plant Paraíso, paradise, and we have the penis cactus, Palma africana.
Look at this, it's heavy, come on.
This is the strongest man on the planet.
Yes, I am. Go. Go, 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 go,
Where?
go, go.
I thought you're the strongest man on the planet. This is a Palmera roja, then a big multi-palm, Bismarckia palm. For me that's still a bit weird because Bismarck used to be a Chancellor of Germany. I love them a lot.
Growing a garden by yourself in the dry season is definitely a challenge. We quickly learned that planting in stages makes sense.
Usually I try to order all the things I need for a house or a garden in one, because you always pay delivery costs. But in the dry season, you can't order all the plants you need for the whole garden in one delivery because the plants would die. Looks like a plant shop.
Well, it's half of it what we need. I think it's better to plant in 2 or 3 phases, because otherwise you're running behind, and it's so dry at the moment, so hot. You have to be fast.
I have to say, planting a garden in dry season is tough. Everything starts dying before you even put it in the earth, and we're talking about putting it in the earth the next day.
We are starting with a garden behind the house as we want it to grow early. First, we need a solid foundation of fresh soil, because this part of the garden is tricky.
We have a lot of tubes lying there, so it's not easy. You just can't put them where you exactly want them.
There is the treatment plant, no?
The treatment plant, all the water connections to the house, right? So we have to be careful that we don't destroy or damage one of the tubes. And at the same time, we need like certain style and structure of the garden.
The philosophy of the garden part between Shrimp and the neighbor's house is that we want to build like as a separation, like a tropical garden, like a green wall. So when you sit in the living room or you cook in the kitchen, you have a green tropical wall in different layers and colors.
Me llamo La Máquina.
La máquina.
La Máquina. They call me the machine.
Why?
The machine, the pale machine.
The pale machine.
The red machine. Because I'm turning red now. Never underestimate 2 things. How heavy is Earth itself? Second, how high are the temperatures here? And how weak you are as a European guy, never used to work in this desert sun, you know? It's really hot. It's really hot.
Neck is free.
Yeah, I know. Kannst du nochmal...
Lau.
Hä?
Lau. Máquina.
Kannst du nochmal Ding holen für den Nacken?
As you probably already noticed, I like to talk. And I thought, if it's already so hot and every meter hurts, the mood at the construction site should be at least as high as the outside temperature. What I didn't think about, continuous chatting while working is not necessarily construction site Tico Nika style.
When it's around 35 degrees in the sun, you should probably use your energy a little more efficiently than babbling all the time like you do.
They told me that I am talking way too much.
For work?
Yeah, because sometimes I go there and talk with them and say, yeah, hey, come on, focus.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, I think a bit of entertainment and a good atmosphere belongs in every workplace.
Sí.
It looked very easy, but I think it was very tough work. But you know, when Juan Francisco does it, it looks like very easy. And when you came, you always made a big drama out of it because you were talking so much.
Because I was carrying the responsibility, right?
Yes.
That's very heavy. And never underestimate the work of the workers who are working every day on your construction, because this work here under these conditions is super heavy. I have a deep respect after I was working with them for only 2-3 hours in the garden, and I saw, oh wow, it's super hot, and obviously my skin is not made for this, so I had like sunscreen all 30 minutes. I went back to my house to put something on because I was burning, literally burning, and I was pretty exhausted afterwards, but fulfilling.
Garden work is heavy, but fulfilling indeed. Probably more than any other place in the world, the tropics offer an incredible variety of different colors and plant species. You see the result extremely quickly, and it has a high success rate. And that makes you really happy.
Our goal in both houses is to create an elegant but barely noticeable transition between the tropical rainforest and our tropical garden. Not only is it prettier, but automatically brings the wildlife closer to the vacation experience.
We received those trees from Somos Congos like a year ago, and they grew a lot. So now we discuss where to plant them to receive more connectivity. These little trees we received, they were for like more than a year in our little vivero in the forest, and now they have a certain size, and we were able to plant them in the park between the forest and the house to make the trees and the forest and the animals come closer to the house, because the normal gardens you design are not especially for animals. They're pretty and look beautiful, nice flowers and plants, but you only have some colibris and some butterflies, but it's not interesting for the animals of the forest. Therefore, we planted some proper forest hill trees to bring some joy to the monkeys and birds and squirrels and so on. So at the moment we're talking about here, which will be quite difficult to plant, but which would be a good spot.
Our role model was our own house at the greenhouse, because we did exactly that at the greenhouse and it worked out pretty well. So we tried to come with this spirit to this place and to merge the forest into the garden and the opposite.
But first, it's all about our key visual plant deluxe, which Esther always calls the statement palm. I admit it's really beautiful and impressive big, but unfortunately really heavy as well.
How many meters does this one have? 6 meters?
That, by the way, is my statement palm.
What is a statement palm? A statement palm is the it piece in the garden. It's like in fashion it would be like the bag a woman has, and in a garden it's a palm.
Attention! Oh, wow.
You know what the disadvantage of a statement palm is? The weight.
Ah, yeah, it's very heavy, but look, I mean, you have so many very strong men on construction here.
Oh, wow.
Every garden needs a statement palm because it gives the garden a certain peace and structure. When you make a garden, you need to check lower things, middle things, and high things. Of course, the statement palm is the highest spot in the garden.
This pool was actually yelling, please give me a statement palm in the corner because it's so nice, because it's like your signature. This is actually our garden key visual.